Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, today we will discuss about resume with the member is FRANSISKA MUKTIANA, Virliana AFRAGHAEVANI, and YUNINDA ARDIANTI. Next. Content to be discussed is first, definition of resume. The second, purpose of resume. Third, what do I include on a resume? 4. Type of resume. 5. The step to make resume. 6. The reason why resume are important for job seekers. 7. Example of resume. And the last, the difference between a resume and a curriculum vitae. Next. Okay, first, definition of resume. A resume is a formal document that provides an overview of your professional qualification, include your relevant work experience, skill, education, and notable accomplishment. To this day, the purpose of a resume is still to provide employers with a summary of your relevant qualification. A resume provides a summary of your education, work history, credential, and other accomplishment and skill. There are also optional sections, including a resume objective and a career summary statement. Next. The second is purpose of resume. The first, the goal of any good resume is to get you a formal interview. The second, the goal of your resume is to convince employers you are worth interviewing. To the end, your resume is a valuable tool you can use to highlight your experience to prospective employers. And the last purpose is the goal of writing a resume is to showcase your experience, education, and skill in a standardized format which is easy for recruits to read. Next. Okay, the next material will be present with Francisca.
Okay, what do I include on resumes? At a minimum, your resume should include the following section. The first, contact detail. Include your first and last name, phone number, and email address. Additionally, you can add your link profile if yours is up to date, and your mailing address if you want to prove you live near the place you're applying. And then introduction. A concise overview of your professional background and key qualifications. Your introduction can be in the form of a resume summary, professional profile, resume objective, or qualification summary. Next, education. Include your school names, highest degree earned, major, and minor. Additionally, you can add your GPA and relevant coursework if you lack experience or it's related to the position. And then experience. List any relevant work experience you have. Include your title, the company you work for, years work, and a bulleted list of your key responsibilities and notable successes. Be sure to also include as many relevant accomplishments on your resume as possible. And the last is skill. Include any resume skill you process that are relevant to the position. Be, be sure to use a strong mix of hard skill and soft skill to demonstrate that you're a well-rounded candidate. The next is types of resumes. There's actually variety of resume formats, and each one has its own strengths and weakness. For reference, there are four main types of resumes. The first, chronological resumes. Chronological resumes open with an introduction and then provides an overview of your professional history in reverse chronological order. The chronological resumes format is the most common type of resume used by job seekers today, and it's suitable for candidates with a variety of different experience levels. Then, functional resumes. A functional resume is formatted to focus on your skills and abilities rather than your chronological work history. It's preferred by professionals who want to draw attention away from their traditional work experience, such as those who are changing career or have significant gaps in their work history. While similar to other resume formats, functional resume are unique a few case ways. The first, the resume introduction and skill section are longer and more detailed than usual. And the work experience section is de-emphasized. The third is targeted resumes. A targeted resume is a resume tailored for each position you apply to. This means highlighting any highly relevant skill and experience you have, and writing your resumes to focus on this qualification. To write a strong target resumes, scan through the job listing for the position you want to fill. Typically, hiring managers include the skills, responsibilities, and traits that they want candidates to possess the job description. Then, highlight these qualities on your resume to demonstrate that you're an ideal fit for the position. The last is combination resumes. A combination resume is a format that combines the best aspect of a functional resume and a chronological resume. While a chronological resume focuses heavily on experience and a functional resume emphasizes skills. A combination resume typically leverages both work history and skill equally to demonstrate your qualification. Combination resumes are ideal from candidates who have extensive experience or a highly developed set of skills that they want to showcase. The next is step to make a good and correct resumes. Here's how, step by step. The first, decide which type of resume you want. You might want to consider more than one format of resumes if you are applying for multiple jobs: chronological, functional, and combination. The next, create a header. A header should include your name, phone number, and email address. You can also include your mailing address, but leave it out if you plan to post your resume online. Use a phone number that you plan to answer and change your voicemail to a more professional message if necessary. And then make sure your email address is professional. For example, is parkchannel@gmail.com. The third is write a summary. In one or two sentences, summarize your work experience and relevant skills. Keep this strong and simple. The summary can be useful to explain why you're applying for a role that is a departure from your career path. You don't have to include summary, especially if your experience speaks for itself and it's relevant to the jobs you are applying. Then list your experience or skills. Starting with your most recent of current job, list your previous work experience. And then list your activities. List activities in which you have participated and include what your specific role was is what was in each. This is the place to note membership or leader position in clubs, organization and of any kind, athletic teams, community organization and etc. If you had an interesting job unrelated to the field you are pursuing, such as reading to blind children or teaching English as a second language, add it here. Employers are always looking for people with diverse backgrounds to work for them. And then list your education. List the schools you've attended, starting with the most recent one. Include details such as GPA, class rank, or special award. Add any other educational experience such as training programs, community college, or summer courses, seminar, and etc. And then list any award you've won and when you won them. When you when you have been recognized by someone else, you should let potential employers know about it. But you should don't worry if you have received any award. Just skip this section. And the last is list your personal interests. This section show you're a well-rounded person who people would want to know and work with. Employees often use this section at the start of an interview to break the ice. Casual interests are better not to list. An example, napping, watching reality TV, and gossiping. This is really about highlighting hobbies that have helped you grow as a person. Then, this resume step is considered optional. If you're having trouble coming up with interest or feel your resume is already too long, feel free to leave it off. The next will be presented by Yuninda.
Okay, thank you, Siska. For, for in this slide, the reason why resume are important for job seeker. A good resume A good resume is the first part of your application any hiring manager will see. So it's important that it convey your qualification, accurately and convincingly. Your resume should offer employers a digestible overview of your relevant skill, employment history, education background, and accomplishment. Based on this information, they can make an informed decision about whether or not they want to interview or hear you. Jadi teman-teman, resume menjadi dokumen yang penting saat kita akan mencari pekerjaan. Karena resume merupakan gambaran umum tentang keterampilan yang kita miliki agar dapat menarik orang yang akan merekrut kita bekerja. Sehingga jika membuat resume harus jelas, singkat, padat, dan menarik agar mudah dipahami dan dicerna oleh orang yang memperkerjakan kita. The next slide. This is an example of resume. Bisa lihat di sini adalah contoh resume yang baik dan singkat dan menarik. Biasanya di dalam resume harus dimasukkan kontak details, introduction, education, experience, dan skill. Dan dalam resume juga harus menerapkan beberapa aspek seperti kerapian, kesederhanaan, keakuratan, dan kejujuran, serta dibuat secara menarik. For the next slide. The difference between a resume and a resume. A resume is a brief summary of your skill and experience over 1 or 2 pages. The resume will be tailored to each position, whereas resume short, no particular formal role, highly customizable, and between CV is more detailed and can stretch well beyond 2 pages. The CV will stay put, and any change will be in the cover letter. CV long cover your entire career static. Dalam CV biasanya berisi tentang detail tingkat tinggi tentang pencapaian yang kita punya. Jadi dokumen CV lebih panjang dan lebih menggambarkan secara detail tentang keahlian yang kita punya. Sedangkan resume secara ringkas dan menarik. Tujuannya membuat kita menonjol untuk mencari pekerjaan yang kita lamar dan menyesuaikan kebutuhan postingan tertentu. On the next.
Okay, this is a reference material from our group. The next. Okay, that was the presentation from our group. Sorry if today's presentation has a lot of mistakes. And if you any question, you can ask us. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.